Hey guys, Zach here, and today we'll be taking a look at the NECA 2001 Atomic Blast Godzilla. Now, this version of Godzilla comes from the 2001 film GMK, which is basically shortened from Godzilla, Mothra, and King Ghidorah, giant monsters all out attack. And that's actually one of my favorite Godzilla movies of all time, definitely in my top 5s. There are some things I don't like about it though. I don't like the idea that King Ghidorah is a good guy in this movie. He should never be the good guy, but that's just me. The original concept for this movie, instead of Baragon, Mothra, and King Ghidorah, it was originally going to be Baragon, Anguirus, and Varan, and I feel like that would have been much better, but that's just me. Other than that, I still think the movie is fantastic, and if you have not seen the movie yet, then I highly suggest that you do. Anyway, with all of that out of the way, let's get into this review. So first, we'll take a look at the paint, and the paint on this figure is very nice. There are a couple paint blemishes, but we'll go over that. So, starting off with the head, we have bits of charcoal gray with mostly blue. We'll talk about why there's blue in a second, but yeah. Anyway, the inside of the mouth is blue as well. And yeah, we just have bits of blue. And most of the body is this charcoal black. There is a minor paint blemish right there next to my thumb. I don't know if you can see it, but it's there. There's also one on this side too that's a lot more noticeable. So, yeah. But yeah, going to the dorsal plates, they look nice. I think this actually looks like they're lighting up, which I do like. These, however, I feel like they could have done something better with these, but these dorsal plates right here look very nice, so I really do like how they look. The toe claws are painted gray, as well as the finger claws. And the eyes, just like the GMK Godzilla, in the movie, they are just white with no pupils. And I think that looks very nice. Excuse me. And that's pretty much it for the paint on this figure. It's not bad, though it's not perfect either. It still gets a pass though, so yeah. Anyway, now we'll take a look at the articulation, and the articulation on this figure is pretty decent. It's basically less than the original NECA GMK Godzilla figure, but yeah, anyway, there's a ball joint at the head. Ball joint here, but it's very tight on mine. It can barely move, actually. But anyway, ball joint here at the shoulder. Bend at the elbow. There's a ball joint right here at the hands. And he can make fists. A bit of rotation here. Not much, though, but still, a bit of rotation. The hips are on ball joints. Bend at the knee, and there is a ball joint right here, and the tail is very limited. The base of the tail here doesn't move at all, or it doesn't move much, I should say. You can get it to bend kind of like that. Also, this pops off way too easily, but yeah, not much there. And ball joint here, as you can see, but the thing about this part of the tail is that it's actually a bendy wire, which I feel like is nice, but I feel like at a certain point in time it'll just break. But yeah. And before we end it off with the articulation, this figure does come with an accessory. He comes with an effect piece, which looks okay. I think the detailing on it looks really nice. The paint on it, though, is okay. We have some metallic silver right here on the side here, and on the side here. And that's pretty much it. There's not much transparency, but if you do hold the light against it, then there is a bit of transparency. But yeah, anyway, in order to get this thing into his mouth, what you'd want to do is just open up the mouth. And if you look in the mouth, I don't know if you can see that, but there is a slight hole in the back there. So what you'd want to do is you just want to make sure it's like this, so that the flat end is facing downwards, and then you just want to stuff it in there. Close the mouth, and there you go. He is now breathing his atomic breath. And that looks okay. It's not amazing, but it still looks okay. For NECA's first attempt at an effect beam, it still looks very nice. I guess if there's one thing I don't like, if you open up the mouth a little, then it looks like the atomic breath is coming from the roof of his mouth rather than his throat, but it still looks nice. It still looks nice either way, so yeah. Anyway, that's basically it for that. The articulation on this figure is it's a little bit less than the original NECA GMK figure, so it's still good, so I guess it gets a pass. Now take a look at the sculpt on this figure, and the sculpt on this figure is not perfect. It's not bad, it's just not perfect at all. For one, I don't like how, for the head, it just looks like he has gills. And the one thing I really don't like is how hunched over he is. Like, I'm sure he hunched a couple times in the movie, but throughout the whole movie he was never like this. And there's no way to push his back any more than this, so you're basically stuck with this, which is kind of a shame, but it's whatever. Other than that, the sculpt on this figure is nice. It doesn't look one-to-one with GMK, but I think the head sculpt is still very threatening looking, and I do like how that looks. But, yeah. Other than that, that's pretty much it for the sculpt. It's not perfect, but it's not awful either, so it gets a pass. Now we'll take a look at the detailing, and the detailing on this figure is actually pretty good. So taking a look at the head, all of these scales are very nicely detailed, very well defined. The inside of the mouth is detailed nicely as well, however you could probably tell because of the very bright blue that they chose for the mouth. Going to the body here, we have more scales that look very nice, and that continues all throughout the figure. The arms are detailed nicely as well, and the hands look okay. The claws are actually detailed nicely as well, so yeah. That's not painted on, that's actually sculpted in, and I like that. I like that they actually sculpted that in, but yeah. Anyway, the front, we have more scales, which look nice. The scaling on the legs here look nice, however, something to point out, there is a noticeable seam right here, which looks but yeah. Anyway, more scaling down the leg, which looks nice. And the feet look really nice. These actually look like GMK's feet, but the rest of the figure doesn't look a lot like GMK. It resembles GMK, but it doesn't look like GMK. But yeah, we have more scales going down the tail right here, which look nice. And yeah, underneath we have more creases and folds, which look nice. And the underside of the feet look really nice as well. And going to the dorsal plates, they are detailed very nicely as well. So, yeah. You could probably barely tell because, you know, they made this look very bright, but it looks nice in person. So, yeah. Doesn't really pick up well on my camera, so I do apologize for that. And, yeah. That's pretty much it for the detailing. The detailing is really nice on this figure, so the detailing definitely gets a pass. For this being the first NECA Godzilla figure to come with an effect piece, I'd say this turned out pretty good. They did release a version of Shin Godzilla where he came with an atomic breath piece, or he came with effect pieces, but I saw that figure at a Target once, and it was immediately just, yeah, no, I'm not buying this. Especially for that $30 price tag, so yeah. But this figure, I mean, if you have the original GMK NECA figure, then I guess you can skip out on this, but if you just want an excuse to pick it up again, then I'd say this figure is okay. So, yeah. Something worth pointing out, at least on mine, the teeth are warped, because whenever you put in the effect piece, the teeth, there are little holes for the teeth to go into, but they do not go in there at all, so the teeth just get warped, and they just scuff against the effect pieces. I'm making a lot of TH sounds, I apologize, but yeah. I don't really like that, but this is still a nice figure. Again, if you don't have the original figure and you just want a GMK Godzilla figure, then I guess you can pick this up. I suggest getting this from Big Bad Toy Store. Their website, they have this figure for like $22, which is a bit cheaper for what it is at retail, so yeah. Definitely go to Big Bad Toy Store and order from there. I'm not sponsored by them or anything like that. I'm just saying you can get it there for a pretty good price. So, yeah. If you want this figure, go for it. But if you have the original NECA figure, then I'd say this is a skip. Anyway, if you want to know how big this figure is, here he is next to Dr. Billy Grant. Alright. Now, that is it for today. Have a great rest of your week, and I will see you in the next video. Peace. Zek out.